At my wife's birthday, everything seemed normal. Then my 10-year-old called me on the phone, "Get out, now." The glass slipped in my hand when the phone buzzed. Her name lit the screen, my daughter. 10 years old. Too young to sound the way she did when I picked up. Her voice cracked, barely a whisper, yet sharp enough to slice through the music, the laughter, the polite applause for the cake my wife was cutting. "Daddy, get out, now." The words froze me where I stood. The smell of icing, the clinking of forks, the faint tune of Happy Birthday still echoing, it all blurred. What happened? My voice was low, too calm, because panic was a luxury I couldn't afford. Her reply trembled like glass about to shatter. "Just leave the house, please." And that was enough. I obeyed. I stepped out of the door with nothing but my coat and keys, leaving behind my wife's smile, the guests' chatter, the glow of candles. I didn't know it then, but it would be the last time I set foot inside that house. The night air was colder than it should have been. I stood by the car, phone pressed to my ear, but she had already hung up. My daughter. My only reason to breathe. Inside, laughter spilled out the windows like nothing had happened. I should have walked back in, demanded answers. But something in her tone had carved itself into me. Fear, urgency, knowledge. And I trusted her more than anyone else in that house. I drove. No destination, just streets blurring past until the party, the candles, the cake were behind me. Only silence in the car, and questions louder than any noise. Why would she tell me to leave? What did she see? What did she know? When I finally parked beneath the hollow glow of a streetlight, I scrolled through messages on my wife's phone account. The family plan I paid for, but she pretended didn't exist. Numbers I didn't recognize. Late-night calls. Text exchanges hidden under contact names that looked too neat. Patterns only a desperate man studies. Patterns only a child might stumble into by accident. The betrayal wasn't confirmed yet, but I could smell it. And once you smell rot, you can't pretend the fruit is still fresh. I didn't confront her, not yet. Confrontation gives the enemy time to rewrite the script. No, I played the role of the quiet, obedient husband. I kept my smile in place, answered her questions with nods, touched her hand when others were watching. But inside I was unspooling every thread. Phone records became my midnight reading. Receipts she forgot to hide became my clues. And my daughter, my silent ally, started leaving breadcrumbs in places only I would notice. A note tucked in my jacket. A drawing left on the fridge with one figure crossed out. She knew. She had seen something, and she was begging me to see it too. The rage never came as fire. It came as ice. Controlled, measured. A decision made each day to dig deeper without revealing my hand. I ordered a DNA test, disguised as a silly mail-in kit. Just curiosity, I told her. Family heritage. She laughed and played along, too sure of herself to notice the blade hovering above her. While waiting, I scrolled through the calls again. The same number repeated. I dialed it one night, blocking my ID. A man answered. His voice carried the familiarity of someone who had been in my house too often, too comfortably. I didn't speak. I didn't need to. His casual "hello" was enough to etch itself into my memory. Every piece was falling into place, quietly. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday, plain, unassuming, the kind of package you could ignore unless you'd been waiting for it like scripture. I opened it at the kitchen table, the same table where we had shared years of meals, years of lies. The paper was clinical, brutal. Probability of paternity, 0%. Not mine. Not my daughter. My hand tightened, not with rage, but with clarity. A child I had raised, loved, carried in my arms, not of my blood. But she had chosen me anyway. She had warned him. Blood was nothing. Loyalty was everything. That evening, I placed the paper in front of my wife without a word. Her face drained color by the second. Her lips trembled, shaping denials that even she didn't believe. Tears came fast, rehearsed, useless. All I asked was one question, my voice colder than the tiles beneath us. How long? She broke. She crumbled. Words spilled. Years, mistakes, loneliness, excuses that only confirmed what I already knew. I watched, silent, detached, because the truth didn't need my anger. It stood tall on its own. I didn't shout. I didn't strike. Violence is for the weak, and I was done being weak. Instead, I leaned back, studying her collapse. The woman who had engineered a decade-long deception now begged like a child caught stealing candy. I slid the paper back across the table, slow, deliberate. You'll need this when you explain to everyone else. That was all. No threats, no promises, just inevitability. Her eyes widened with something deeper than fear, exposure. She knew the humiliation waiting outside these walls. She knew the silence I carried was louder than any outburst. I stood, coat in hand, and walked out. She followed, pleading, but her words bounced off the walls like echoes in an empty cave. I didn't look back. That was the revenge. Leaving her to choke on the truth without giving her the dignity of my fury. 3 months passed. They came to me then, my wife, her lover, her family, all weaving apologies, begging for forgiveness, trying to stitch together something already burned to ash. I listened, that's all. The same way I listened to the sound of the envelope tearing open. The same way I listened to my daughter's trembling voice the night everything began. Forgiveness isn't currency, it isn't owed, and I had nothing left to trade. When they asked me if I would ever come home again, I simply smiled. Home? That house had been a stage, the marriage a performance, the truth the only thing real, and now it belonged to me alone. I turned my back on them, words as sharp as the final cut. I don't live there anymore.